Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for being here. Thanks for being on this trip. Today I had the honor and pleasure of trading out two very fine leaders at the helm of Southcom here, and I've known them both for some time, and I hate to see Laura go. I think that Bull Halsey will be a tremendous replacement to be able to carry on there. As you know, as I said in my remarks, Bull was a military deputy commander. Southcom has two commanders, as you know. One's an ambassador, the other was a military leader. So really appreciated having the opportunity to thank our outstanding troops. They have done great work, and there's a lot going on in DOD and in the world, and so we've got a lot of work to do to carry on with the things that we've been working on. American people have spoken, and our fellow citizens have just elected the next president, and so we will be focused on making a smooth, calm, professional transition so that the department can continue on with this really important work that we've been doing here over the last 4 years, and I think we've done a lot. And you've heard me talk about that in a number of cases, and so that'll be our focus going forward. And with that, I'll stop and take your questions.
Thank you, sir. We'll go to Nancy South Wall Street.
Hi, sir. I had an election-related question for you. In addition to the economy and immigration, voters called U.S. foreign policy a top election topic, particularly the war in Gaza, in Ukraine, and before that, Afghanistan. You were at the table for all those decisions. How much do you think this election was a repudiation of the Biden administration's foreign policy? What responsibility do you feel you bear? And would you have done anything differently?
Well, let me say this, Nancy. What I've heard you guys talking about is that the election was actually about domestic issues, and it was about the economy. Despite the fact that the economy is really, really strong, and we've driven inflation down to a point where nobody thought it would be possible to do, the narrative that's been out there is that the economy is in horrible shape, and it's just not the case. And so because of that, a lot of people, that was their main concern. It was not abortion. It was not, international affairs. It was that, according to what you guys have said. In terms of what we've done, our international work, Nancy, I think we've done remarkable things. We strengthened NATO. We pulled NATO together. We have kept 50 countries focused on providing security assistance to Ukraine. The things that we've done in the Indo-Pacific, quite amazing. You've been on some of those trips with us, and you've seen this firsthand. You've seen things like, we walked in a door, we were about to get kicked out of the Philippines. We're 180 degrees out from that now. We have a great relationship with the Philippines, and we continue to work together in the ways that we should be working together. You look at AUKUS, you look at which is a generational capability that is really going to make a significant difference going forward. Our relationship with India, much expanded from what it was when we walked in the door. Japan has doubled its investment in defense, and the list goes on and on and on. So despite supporting and managing security assistance to Ukraine, we've been able to, and also supporting Israel's efforts to defend its sovereign territory, we've been able to maintain a focus on the Indo-Pacific as well. We described that as our pacing challenge early on, and that remained our pacing challenge. So we were able to to manage challenges and resources, and I think that put us in a pretty good place, and it sets up the country for success going forward, as long as we follow through on the important things. Thanks.
Let's go to Chris.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand. Do you then feel that the war in Gaza was not a big factor, or it didn't play into sort of how voters approached the election?
I'm telling you what the media has said is that the most important things on voters' mind was the economy, and that's what people voted on. I didn't say that this was not important. Of course, it's important. I'm saying that what you've described as the most important thing to the people in America was the economy, and so I can't disagree with that. I think that's the way that people may have voted, but I can also say that things in Europe, things in the Middle East, very important as well. I think we've done a magnificent job there in terms of managing things and not allowing things to blossom into a full-blown regional war.
So during the first Trump administration, I think a lot of analysts said that President Trump politicized the military, undermined good faith and order, or good discipline and order, and hurt alliances. How concerned are you that a second Trump administration will do the same thing when it comes to the military?
I won't speculate on what could happen, Idris. I will tell you that we have an incredibly professional set of leaders a group of leaders in the military. And they are absolutely focused on doing the right things to maintain the competitive edge in the battle space, acquiring the right capabilities, developing the right policies and procedures and tactics, and strengthening the alliances and partnerships that we need to be successful. And they will remain focused on that. What happens above and beyond that, Idris, I think, we'll have to see. And I totally believe that our leaders will continue to do the right thing no matter what. I also believe that our Congress will continue to do the right things to support our military.
Just a quick follow-up. A military judge, I think, ruled that your decision to revoke the plea deals for the alleged masterminds of 9/11 was still valid. Do you intend to intervene again, or are you going to let the plea agreement stand?
Well, Idris, you asked me a question about this at the State Department, I think, several months ago. And what I told you then was that this is a very important issue, and I thought at that point in time that it was important enough that I should be the person that make the decision on this, and I still feel that same way. Again, I won't comment on anything that could happen in the future, but again, I would just emphasize that I still feel the same way.
So now let's go to Ellen.
Mr. Secretary, is there a mechanism in place right now that would allow Donald Trump to conduct mass deportations using the active duty military? And are you concerned, to build off of Idris's question, about his idea to fire woke generals he considers woke in the military?
Ellie, I would, in terms of what will be done or can be done using active duty military, I won't speculate on anything there. But I would tell you that, the law is fairly, really well defined in what can be done and not be done with using active duty military. Our leaders are well versed in those laws, and we have the world's greatest legal corps to assist us in making sure that we stay on track. In terms of selection of leaders, firing of leaders, it's the prerogative of the commander-in-chief to select his leaders, and everyone knows that. And so, again, I won't speculate on what the president-elect could do or will do. A number of things have been said. We'll see what happens. But what I would tell you is that these senior leaders will stay focused on their on the task at hand, and it is defending this country, taking care of our troops, succeeding through teamwork. I mean, this is what they're made of. This is what they do, and I have 100% confidence in them going forward.
And then on Gaza, we're about a month after the letter UN Secretary Blinken sent to Israel to ask them to do more or the U.S. may reconsider arms shipments. Have you seen enough? Are you considering slowing any weapons to Israel?
Ellie, I won't comment specifically on this correspondence between me, Secretary Blinken, and our counterparts, which was not designed to be public correspondence. It was designed and does reflect our concern for providing humanitarian assistance to people of Gaza, which is really important. You've heard me talk on this about every time that we've talked, Ellie, and you also know that every time I talk with Minister Gallant, this is an issue that I really, really emphasize, and today when I talked to him for the final time in his position, I emphasized again how important this is, and thanked him for what he did to help us help us move things along. They have made some progress, Ellie, to answer your question. More needs to be made, but he was very deliberate in terms of going after those things that we asked him to do.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.